when I thought I was ready, my old lady told me, she said, you gonna go on there with your hair looking like that? And so I got this thing. It's a little
Put it back
wild,
on,
man.
Put it back on.
I was telling Chevy, I look like night like this. I wish.
Matter of fact, just use your avatar. We just use your avatar.
Y'all remember when Eddie Kane woke up and he said, "Well, because I'm an alcoholic, because I had 2-3 drinks, I'm an alcoholic now." This shit was leaning to the side. You know what I'm saying? That's all good, man.
It looks like 1970 coochie hair.
Listen, it do. But let me tell you, if I hit the streets right now, hold on. But don't don't. This nigga better not make a mistake. If I hit the streets right now and you pointed one out, I'd snatch it up. Stranger, quick.
You gonna get snatched up by Bree, is what you saying?
That's fine. But to prove the point, see, it's all about proving a point.
The point gonna be proved is you gonna get hemmed up.
That's
I don't want this for you.
See, that's the way we used to pull back in the day. One of us would have to point who the other one would pull, so that way you couldn't cheat by going to just pull some little scallop. Your homeboy pointed out, said, "All right, that's what you got to get."
That's how you got his first wife.
Yep.
Wow.
She was stone faced and stuck up looking, so I wasn't gonna say nothing to her. He like, "No, you gotta get that. Now go ahead. Damn."
And she was high yellow.
Yeah, man. And
high yellow.
Yeah.
Is this 1996?
Was the year might have the year was 2000. The year was 2001, so we ain't too far off. But yeah, man, y'all. Hey, so y'all look, man. So one of the things I got for y'all that's a surprise. Listen, the Drake battle, that stuff is over with, but man, there was a good conversation around him, so I'm gonna play that a little later. That's a good one, man, because there might be I don't know if I sympathize or empathize for him, but I feel a little bit, just a wee bit bad for old Aubrey, man. I think there's a little hypocrisy with the way people look at him all sideways. But first thing I want to jump into, y'all, man, that damn conversation surrounding that damn teacher.
The teacher?
Yeah, the teacher that got fired, man. The teacher that got fired for letting them girls braid his hair.
We talked about that last week.
No, we didn't talk about it. No, that just boy, you look at it, boy. You in a twilight zone. So I'm gonna play it, and y'all can tell me when to stop it whenever y'all want to, because this is him responding
this video
to what people had to say about it.
I wanted to come on here and read some of the messages that my students are.
You barely hear him actually talking.
Some of the messages that they've been sending me.
This is him reading the letters from the students.
During this time, hey bestie, I really hope that you see this message. How are you? I hope that you're okay.
I want to know what made him think that song was even appropriate.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, can we just stop?
yeah.
I'm uncomfortable.
Like, what made him even think that song was appropriate?
What song you playing?
I can't believe that. Taking
Braid my hair.
It's such a big deal, and it makes me so mad.
Oh no,
it's giving manipulation right now.
He doesn't.
I'm glad I didn't see this video.
Yo, he still does not get it. And I think we could just jump right to it. I don't need to hear this motherfucker talk.
Yeah,
the people defending this. I've heard so much. I told you on one comment where a lady said something about men being jealous because coaches was taking girls back in high school.
Yeah,
that is such a sick projection, because I'm like, that even speaks worse to the mind of the woman that would say something like that. Mm-hmm. The woman that would say something like that, you are so far gone that you think that's the issue. But the overall issue is that this is not something appropriate at all. Like even if he wasn't a teacher, if he was just the regular dude on the block and he's an adult and minors are coming in there taking down his hair, no father's gonna be okay with that. Like, and the man shouldn't be comfortable with it. But anyway, I want y'all to give y'all take on it, because man, I'll go in, man, and get disrespected real quick, man.
Initially, I was on the fence. Well, I wasn't on the fence. I was like, well, I didn't see the big deal because I see so many female teachers do the same thing. So in this isolated moment of me seeing the very video that went viral, I'm like, I don't see the big deal. All the other stuff that came out later,
like
this
what?
is a pattern.
Because I haven't seen the video. So what came out later?
Apparently he's been on lots of trips with these students. I don't know if these were school sanctioned trips.
Oh hell.
There have been inappropriate like posts he's made under certain students' TikToks. Him actually it wasn't, he was talking about one of the girls' bodies on one of his TikToks.
What?
And the girl was in the video.
Okay.
It was a lot, and I was like, "Oh, wait a minute. This is different."
Yeah.
This makes the hair braiding thing look like part of a whole grooming situation. This video here you just played with him playing "Braid My Hair" like he don't know the lyrics song. And you talking about some "Hey Bestie," boy? If you don't get the blankety blank up out of here,
bro.
He did.
Hey Bestie. Yeah. Well, the kid was writing him talking about referring to him as Hey Bestie.
Ain't no kid need to be referring to you as no "Hey Bestie," and you sitting here crying here like a little punk, boy. I was okay till I heard the song "Braid My Hair," and I know the lyrics to that song. That was the jam back in the day.
It is a very it's an intimate sensual song.
It's a very intimate song, and you playing that by your students, boy. If you,
it's not casual at all. It's not a casual song.
I'm with you when you're right, but not when you're wrong. Nah, he deserved to be fired, and he probably needs to register on somebody's sex offender list somewhere.
Man, hold on, Frank, speak to that, man, because you said it's lucky that's all he getting. Because this man, I'm telling you, I can't imagine fathers are okay with that.
I ain't gonna lie, when it was just this video, and it just looked like they doing exactly what they're doing, and I was like, "What's the big deal?"
Yeah.
But when Sheffy came back with the extra stuff that he was found doing, I was like, "Yeah, man, string that nigga up, string him up," because I can see how this can be taken the wrong way. If I don't want to, label anybody, but if someone had their trust violated as a kid and they're now an adult, I can see them looking at this like it's gonna lead somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can say, well, yeah, that's just you projecting what happened to you, yada yada yada. Nothing ever happened to me, thank God. Nothing ever happened to my children, thank God. So I'm looking at it from a perspective of they just doing what girls do. Like my daughters used to, when I had hair, they used to comb my hair, they used to comb my beard and all that stuff. And granted, they're my daughters, but I was looking at it through those lenses still. That was my only perspective, lived experience. But I have been a teacher. I taught art for a nonprofit for like a year and a half, but I could be cool with the kids, but there was still a line drawn that they knew you're the student, I'm the educator. We can laugh, we can joke, but to an extent. I wouldn't have done this as a teacher. Even though initially I was like, what's the big deal? But at the same time, me personally, I wouldn't have done this. So I was just going to chop it up to, well, the nigga young. and maybe he just naive based on his on him being young or whatever. But the messages and all that came out about this nigga, I was like, man, no, man, can't defend this nigga. So it's like, hey, man, you if you looking for some defense, you haven't given anything to defend.
Yeah.
It's like, nigga, you stupid. You stupid. And you can tell this nigga didn't think anything of it because he put it on social. Well, you know, I can't even say that because people put everything on social media now.
Yeah.
Ain't no defense for this nigga, man. String a nigga up. String him up.
Before I go to UK, I want to say this, man, and this is what made it automatic for me. Automatic without a thought. There was a conversation sometime back on Facebook. I don't know whether it was in the best conversation group or wherever, but we were joking about seeing dudes in jail and they had dudes braiding their hair. And I'm like, that's I understand it's prison, right? There's no way on the streets you would ever see a dude sitting there and another dude braiding his hair. No, it's not going to.
That's not true.
If you, wait, hold on. Okay, let's say you do see it. It's rare. It is not and I'm saying, and the reason I say it's rare is because the crown of your head is an erogenous zone. Let's not play like it's not. Google it if you don't think so. Humans that don't think so. All this up in here, you get somebody messing around in your scalp, it's just like, oh, it's the most relaxing thing ever. I am enjoying this. I don't like, me personally, I don't care for men to be touching all in my scalp and like no, and it would take some extreme measures for me to be okay with something like that. Number two, it was no boys in it. It wasn't no boys helping to take down that damn hair. And the examples that people were trying to use with other girls playing in women teachers' hair or boys cutting a male's teacher hair, those weren't even equivalent. Those are false equivalencies. People were trying to say, what about this? What about this? What about? There was not one other picture shown of one guy sitting there with a bunch of girls playing in their head. So it's, to me, the intimacy of it would automatically make me just dismiss it as a man. Like, no, y'all can't take down my hair. Hey, Mr. Hill, ooh, your braids looking raggedy. We need to take down your hair. Sorry, y'all can't do that. Not unless I'm paying you. And it's off-site. Like I would have to pay. So it's a thing. Like people think I'm not playing. It is an intimate thing for a woman to go digging your scalp. I'm just think what you want about it. Y'all ain't letting niggas dig in y'all scalp like that. So hey.
I mean, some are.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, there might be some diddlers, might be a couple of diddlers. I'm just saying.
So, would there be an issue if I let the little boys in my daycare play in my hair?
I think male to female, it's different. I think male interacting to female, it gets a little different, but I can understand that more than I can anything else. If we want to draw the line and say, all right, you know what I'm saying, little boy, and I think it's different when it's teenagers.
Well, no,
versus littles.
14 though. That's why I'm asking.
I think it's different male to female, but I can understand that argument.
I'm not arguing. I'm just asking. I feel one way or the other. I'm just asking.
Yeah. I think that's a fair case to bring up. Say, all right, would that be okay? If somebody says that's not okay, I'm gonna say yeah, it's not okay, just to even it out. But I know how it feels for girls to dig around in your hair and play in your hair. It's just not okay.
For me, again, if it was just this isolated incident, I wouldn't have had a concern at all. Because kids, especially girls, they like playing in hair regardless. Mm-hmm. A lot of times, especially if you have girls who are interested in cosmetology, you have girls braiding the little boy's hair. There's been videos of, a guy who had picture day, and the girls were like, well, we don't want you to look messed up for this picture. And the girl braided the guy's hair. So stuff like that, it happens in school. because you have a lot more younger boys who are, or men, period, who are wearing their hair longer these days. So if it was just that incident that happened, I'd have been like, nah, y'all, it's y'all are applying a situation to a situation that wasn't necessarily the case. And a lot of times that can be born in insecurity, which is similar to what Sam said. But when you do all these other theatrics, this man, and
if these were my goddamn daughters, I'd be going to have a conversation with him. I don't give a fuck what. I don't
and I understand
nothing else on earth. Nothing else on earth. No, I understand what girls want to do, but what girls want to do, oftentimes, how many times are we not going to address that? What girls think is okay, what they are comfortable with, without any sexual connotation whatsoever. What do men do with that? They use that to groom the shit out of them. Like they really, you man, I remember when you used to do my hair. So when she's 17 and she's close to that age, oh man, I remember you used to braid my hair when you was in such and such grade. Man, you did such a good job. You gonna braid my hair after graduation? You ain't gonna leave me, is you? I can hear that shit playing because that's
also a singular thing too. Like if it's one girl that was braiding, then I'm looking at dude like. But it's a group.
That is fair. That is. I'm just saying, my daughter being in there, I'd have been like, "Hey, don't do that." I'm like, "No, we ain't doing that no more." And I'd be like, "Hey, I don't play that, bro. You play with somebody else's kids, they okay with that. God bless them. But nah, Morgan Michelle, they can't be up in your head, bro."
I just can't believe he was playing the song "Braid My Hair."
Braid my. He play in his apology. He's playing the song "Braid My Hair" in his apology and reading off letters, that the kids sent to him.
What were you thinking?
Yeah, but
I think he was thinking more so just the part of the hook, braid my hair. Come on and braid my hair. I think he was just like, oh, this is gonna.
Maybe he's just a stupid guy. This is what it's starting to sound like to me is he's just stupid.
Yeah, but the lyrics to this song, "Come on and braid my hair, back in my hood, feeling good, no worries and no cares, baby. Use your hands to make me feel all right and take away the stress and drama in my life while you braid my hair, sir."
Gotta be smarter than that nigga.
You got a whole degree. You can't tell me you that stupid. Because wherever you got that degree from, they need to take that thing back.
Nah, there's some stupid teachers out here.
It's very possible he's that stupid.
Yeah.
That's possible, but he would have known how stupid he was by the time I spoke to him. Yeah, I'd have went up there with so much flash in me that he would have just told all the girls, "Hey, y'all don't do that. No. Oh my God, Morgan, your daddy done came up here and ruined it for us." Oh well, he crazy. Nope, fuck around. Nah. We done did with the little girls messing around with that. But anyway, I won't belabor the topic. I think him. Now I don't know, like firing, suspending.
He got fired.
Yeah. I'm saying some people were saying it could have been a suspension. I'm just for disciplinary action. I'm for a response. Yeah, I'm for a response that sends a message. Absolutely.
He need to be fired because you on here reading letters from your students. And it just got more and more inappropriate. The more and more he tried to clean it up, it just got more and more inappropriate.
Yeah. So I get it. I definitely, but I won't belabor it too much more. Anyway, I want to Frank. I got some empathy for old Drizzy, man. I feel a little way, man. Because I think there's some. Listen. Now it ain't got nothing to do with it. Ain't got nothing to do with his rap game. It ain't got nothing to do with the disses. But apparently, the chatter around the industry, dudes feel some way about your favorite rapper, Aubrey. So, man, I'm gonna share this video, and I was like, man, yours, nigga, don't front. You don't want to turn me on to him.
You're a lying son of a.
You don't want, man. You was talking about Drake.
Drake is one of my favorites.
You talking about Drake when he said that shit, last name, greatest, first name ever, or something. That was you back in there. You told me about them lines.
I don't even remember that song.
You told me about them bars.
May not mean nothing at all.
That was you. I remember him singing that. I remember him singing that.
Oh, I swear, I don't care who tell
it. So anyway, so these dudes had a conversation about old Drake, and I was like, man, it makes sense. it makes sense, but I can also I sense a little hypocrisy here. I'm gonna let y'all judge it for yourself.
Hold on. Let's have a real conversation about Drake.
They won't.
No, let's do it. No, fuck it. We avoided it.
To have it.
No, let's do it. Let's have a real conversation about how niggas talk about Drake behind the scenes and how people in the industry talk about Drake and how they view him. Niggas view Drake like he's a corny nigga who grew up not getting no pussy and now he got money and now he's able to afford that, right? Let's just be real about how niggas talk about. And I know he know that's how niggas talk about it, right?
But it's more than I just can afford.
Cool.
He's playing like that.
He's playing like that, right? Now, cool. We also know niggas in the industry who've grown up with that. Grown up with the swag. Got pussy without the money. Now they got it and they start going crazy too, right? But we as men, we respect that. Because we feel like, yo, we understand that. You just got a little bit more to work with. We don't respect the Drake shit.
True.
And Drake mind is like, I don't give a fuck whether y'all respect it or not, because I'm still doing the same shit y'all doing. Y'all just don't respect me for doing it.
True.
That's all this is.
And
Drake don't do nothing no different from what the rest of these niggas in the industry is doing. They just don't like that as the fact that he's doing it. Because they don't respect him. They don't look at him.
Thank you. I agree.
Listen,
I'm agreeing with E.
Listen,
I'm agreeing with E.
No, you can't do it to man.
I'm agreeing with E.
No, my nigga, I know street niggas.
Drake and Kanye.
Street niggas who got respect in the street, who just as pussy hungry, that's just as fucking foul when it come to women, and we don't check them in the same way because of who they are.
A lot of
in
the
the
niggas,
street.
and a lot of them niggas, some of them niggas' lives is gone. Some of them niggas has been shot over, bitch. Stop. Stop. They can't beat him up.
I'm not giving an excuse.
They can't put hands on them, and the niggas that put hands on them.
I'm not giving an excuse.
What they do with Chris Brown? Send the letter. Like, this is his angle.
You sounding it like I'm trying to give an excuse to Drake.
I'm agreeing
I'm
with
just
you.
giving the fact of what it is. Bottom line is, most of these niggas in the industry that have grown up a certain way don't like that this nigga moves in the fashion he moved because they never had a respect for him.
You said but you just said that a lot of niggas in the industry do that. A lot of niggas in the industry do not try to fuck everybody's bitch. That is not true.
I think you're making two valid points.
Imani's saying that he know niggas on the street. That's respected that be trying to fuck niggas.
Niggas had a respect issue with him. That's solid. Put that to the side.
Got you.
That don't have to have something to do with your other point, which is, hey, how you moving out here? Now, take the niggas that combine them. Hey, the nigga I didn't respect is moving a certain way. But if you isolate any one of those categories, they all stand, which is what Flip is about to say. Which is what I keep saying to y'all. If y'all know anybody in real life that moves that way, there's nothing you gonna come here and say about it. You gonna get far the fuck away from that weirdo nigga. You might get something done to that nigga. True. That's not, we living in Mythland somewhere.
You introduce him to your girl, extra friendly, smiling.
And he do that
exchanging numbers
19, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70 times, and it ain't just rappers.
But you might
the athletes, the actors, the golfers, the executives, the tech people.
Yeah, but Joe, the difference is you might be more comfortable being way more vocal about that nigga that you never respected
than the nigga
that you know.
Other nigga. Than the nigga that you
because most of the time you're right. You'll get away from the nigga, but you don't really go out in public and talk about. Ooh, I wish we could do it. I wish we could.
He's right.
I really wish we could.
He's right.
Dog.
Do you want to do it?
Dog, you telling me I'm here to pod. Let me respond to what you just said.
All right, because we can go there.
There is a difference between
what he's saying.
I know
exactly what he's saying. And he right. When you know niggas will bust that gun, you shut your fucking mouth. You know Drake is this little corny nigga from Canada that can't beat you, you'll be mad vocal.
Y'all saying that, but Drake is mob tied. So I mean, y'all painting him as some corny nigga from Canada. But he has changed that perception with a few people.
Yes,
My response to Amani is, there's a difference between
metaphors and
that too, but there's a difference between the niggas that's fucking on the same crop of girls.
Yes.
Because we're in the entertainment business, that exists. We ain't dumb. Y'all ain't got to explain that.
And the dude that zeroes in on your girl.
Repetitively.
Yes.
Continuously. In every different circle.
Yes.
I went to Atlanta. I went to this studio. The bitch that I seen with you, I doubled back on. I did that 900 times.
Because I seen it with you.
I did that 900 times, but I was in the circle playing cool. And then it came back. There is no defense of it. Let the internet make up their stories.
No, that's true.
In real life, we don't accept it.
No.
Listen.
Not at all.
So Drake a little dirty Mac-ish, but my thought is they know other dudes that move like that. Other dudes, so it's a combination of things. One, Drake be double backing, he doubles back on people's girls. Or the same chick that you was kicking it with. That's one of the things you do. That's not okay nowhere. But I want to go to the first point they was making, that he's a dude that, yeah, he was corny back in the day and a lame, and now he has status. He's doing the same things the dudes are doing that already was those dudes. And as much as I understand the lack of respect, is that hypocritical? Because I mean, Sam, we gotta be honest, bro. We talk about it all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like when you know a dude is a lame, and the only reason he's getting access to women is because he got money, we say it. We like, man, if it wasn't for that money, it would be dry dick in here. That nigga lame in here. He just got the money, and that's why he doing it. And so we don't really respect what he's doing because we don't feel like he's doing it off the strength. He ain't doing it off the strength of his own persona. But is that hypocritical? You know what I'm saying? Is that hypocritical? Because we just don't like it. But he doing the same thing we doing. Hypocrite or no?
Between the lame nigga and the
yeah, between the dude that's lame and the dude that just always had it like that. Y'all doing the same thing. You just don't like the way he's doing it. But you ain't no better necessarily morally and ethically. Is that hypocritical or not?
to look at him as lame for doing that, or just I'm trying to
yeah. Look. He took the elevator. You took the stairs, but y'all both on the top floor. You don't respect the fact that he on the top floor doing what you doing on the top floor. I mean, but you doing the same shit. Well, he got here different. I'm gonna use that analogy better. We both on the 18th floor of the building. We running around acting a fool, doing what we should not be doing. The way I got to the 18th floor is I ran. The way you got to the 18th floor, you took the elevator. Now you feel some way about me doing what I'm doing up here. What you want me to do? Stand in the corner and just watch y'all have fun? Because I'm a lame and I took the elevator?
Well,
that's what we want. We want him to come up here and sit in the corner and be, hey, you, since you was a lame, you continue to be a lame. You sit in the corner. You don't do too much now. That's essentially what they saying.
To me, it sounds like somebody you got two bodybuilders, one natural, one steroids. The natural nigga looking at the nigga using steroids like, nigga, you got all them corners you cut. I can't respect that because you didn't put in the same, or you didn't put in equal amount of work. Like our ethics are different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know what? Now that I get it, I wouldn't call it hypocritical based on the fact that he just, when you achieve something and you put the work in and you didn't cut corners to accomplish it, and then you look over next to you and the nigga got the same accolades, but he knew somebody that knew somebody and he got it that way, I'm not gonna respect that nigga.
Yeah. I get it. I'm just wondering, is it because I'm wondering, since it's something that's not, we're talking about the way men move sexually, right? That specifically. We ain't talking about, you know what I'm saying, just eating cotton candy. We're literally talking about the greasy way in which celebrities, athletes, and whomever else move with women. He's doing the same thing. Since it's a greasy thing, I think that work ethic shit kind of goes out the window. Like you doing.
So when talk specifically about the way he's moving with women.
Yeah.
Both of them lame. The street nigga and the corner nigga lame.
See, I knew you was gonna do that. You old ethical elite. You old good. You were just old good. You just old good nigga. I knew you was gonna do. God damn it. I mean, he ain't never. So hold on. I'm gonna get you in the show. He ain't never gonna speak from the advantage of a fuck boy. That boy is never gonna.
So
he ain't never gonna do it. Goddamn.
I don't know why it's insinuated that he got like a free pass to hit to where he was. Because if you remember when Drake first popped, he was out on the grind with mixtapes and everything.
Oh, he had to work at his craft.
He worked to get this status. People didn't respect him because of where he started.
Yeah.
Oh, he the grassy and he ain't no street dude, But he never positioned himself to be a street dude. So it's like I think a lot of street dudes insinuate that he's like them, but he never said that. Even in some of the energy he's had, recently, he talks more about, if y'all gonna come get me, versus I'm gonna come clap y'all kind of thing. So I think the hood dudes are still, they're the ones who are putting him on the same level as them, and then being mad that he ain't moving in some of the like hood circles that they do. I think if we're talking about how his dealings are with women, I think dudes is jealous because he had a couple of things are happening that I don't think a lot of men talk about. Number one, colorism. Colorism amongst men is a thing that men don't talk about.
Sheffy. I'm telling you, I've been listening to y'all, and literally that was the only thing I was thinking. Like, this sounds like colorism to me.
Colorism. Dudes hate, because you gotta think what do elder barge behind ass dude and all of these things come out when dudes are literally jealous of how a dude is moving.
But you think it's due to him being light?
So a couple of things. I think it's a little bit more than that. So him being light skin is one of them, absolutely. Because you got to think about Kendrick Lamar had all this to say about him being mixed by his mom being white, things like that. He had that same energy for J. Cole.
Okay, with that, it's a cultural thing. So
partly, yes, I agree. Partly is culture because he's Canadian. Completely with you on that.
And Jewish.
Yes. So there's a couple of culture pieces I agree. But
the light skin thing is
largely in part to a lot of men. The first thing they say, I can't stand that old light skin fool.
You know what? It's funny that. So I'm glad y'all mentioned that. I didn't even think of that because I've been at the. I mean, I think it's for as long as since Wesley Snipes took care of G Money and the old light skinned dude with the when he handled that. We was on top. I felt as a dark-skinned brother, and Michael Jordan, bro, all the examples through the 90s, I felt like, hey, you light-skinned, they were just other dudes at that point. Y'all time was over. Like El DeBarge, that era was gone by the time I came of age. They was not those guys no more. Every icon that you can think of showed up, tall, dark-skinned, bald head, big 90s nose,
was y'all decade,
like
man.
We was in there. I'm like, ain't worry about all these, you know what I'm saying? So I never, but you're right, because it is still some vocal energy in circles when they say, you know what I'm saying, when one of those dudes, when a light-skinned dude does show up, because even women have voiced a preference for darker hue nowadays. So I think now it's like dark-skinned dudes want light-skinned dudes to stay gone. They want y'all gone. We want y'all to. They want them to stay gone. I never cared.
The whole premise of light-skinned energy, how they be putting them supposedly gay.
Hell, even
out talking about this some light-skinned activity.
Hell, even light-skinned dudes have bought into the concept to the point when they say you got to handle stuff like a dark skin, like Kobe was telling people, like telling basketball players, you out here playing like you light skin. Like Kobe was telling dudes, you can't play like that. You can't play like you light skin out here. So I'm saying there's something there. There's something to it. I didn't even think about that though. Yeah, man, that might be feeding some of that energy in them circles. Oh, light skin nigga.
Hey, you got to think about the other dudes in the industry that move that way that are dark skinned.
Yeah.
Lil Wayne been moving that way for a very long time.
Oh man, come on now. Yeah.
Do we talk about Lil Wayne?
Yeah. Yeah, so my thing was, my issue was there. To me, there is a level of hypocrisy to it. Now the dirty Mac tactics, I have never in my life, I don't care who you got, what you got going on as a bro, if I know you, if I've shaken your hand as a man, we done stood face to face and chopped it up, I'm not doubling back ever in life on the woman that I saw you kicking it with. I have felt like, damn man, I know who she used to kick it with. And years later, and I'm like, oh, she ain't with dude no more. I'm like, but damn, I saw her with that dude. I can't do nothing about that. So I just leave it, I just leave it alone. Drake, he don't give a damn. He getting them all, bro. He doubling back. He coming back. You can still be with her. He doubling back on it. Remember when he friend requested that girl after her man had trolled Drake, and she sent that friend request, and it became an issue on social media because he wanted her to delete it, and she like, I don't know, man, bro. That's see that kind of thing is so greasy because in my position, I wouldn't punch down on somebody like that. Drake say he don't give a damn. He double back punching down. He doing all of it. And I'm just saying, but so there's a lack of respect. I think some of it's hypocritical. I do truly believe some of it's hypocritical.
I think using Drake is a bad example because that nigga just exude lameness. Like whether he was dark skinned or light skinned, nigga just lame.
But see, even if he lame, he lame, but he doing the same thing y'all do, and y'all feel some way about it. And I understand feeling some way about it, but it ain't like y'all out here doing something morally and ethically upstanding that a person needs to earn their chops to partake in. By like, let's just say we're talking about being a leader of church, in the church world, in a religious organization, right? You got to prove yourself. You should have to prove yourself by some moral and ethical bylaws and standards, right? You got to be married. Your children got to be about the same. They gonna check you. They're gonna vet you before putting you in a position to be like an ordained minister, whatever the case may be, right? In that world, I can understand not feeling the way if some dude who wasn't on the up and up ends up in that position. But we talking about y'all talking about running through women, tossing girls, and acting like fuck boys. And y'all mad because he acting like a fuck boy, but he didn't earn it on his own gravitas.
That's what he did, though.
No, not the gravitas by which men measure. Money isn't the measure. Fame isn't the measure. I'm not
talking about money.
That's what they're talking about. That's what they're talking about. Not me. That's what they talking about.
Y'all really think his only money is the reason Drake getting women?
Okay. No. Okay, we're saying this.
He's an attractive guy.
Okay, we're saying this. It's not physical attraction that wins the day. We're talking about two dudes walk in the room. One look like Drake, one look like one of these other dudes. But then there's that other thing, that je ne sais quoi. That thing is a real thing. He don't move with that. They're saying he.
How do you know though? How do you know he don't?
I'm gonna take the word of everybody in the world that's in his circles, and it's all being said from the women to the men and everybody, right? So let's just say if that's the case, that's the only thing I'm arguing. We as men, we stand on a line where we say, all right, we all walk in this space. Can we hold our own as men amongst women? And then if the answer is yes, it's yes. Then there's a dude that comes into that same space, but it's obvious he got the money. Do we feel some way? Yeah. But we're not talking about something so morally and ethically upright to where I think it ought to be that big of a deal. I understand the feeling.
I get what you're saying, but I guess the part I'm trying to convey is Drake does not have the typical guy swag. Agreed. He has something I think that's better. He got the corny dude swag. Corny dude swag is how you see that ugly dude with the real pretty girl. Why?
He made
her laugh. He made her feel comfortable. And she was so comfortable, she comfortable her tail out them draws.
Hold on, wait. So he would have corny dude swag if he stayed being corny and didn't code switch. See, corny dude swag wins when you don't.
But is he code switching though?
Apparently he is. That's what they're saying. They're saying
I don't think he is. I think that's what not like winning. No,
that's what not like us. That's what not like us was about. You ain't like us, but you try to act like us. You ain't got that, but you try to act like that. When it's like when Sam said he was being a caricature of a certain type of man.
Right.
It's like we don't respect that at that point. So if he walk in rooms like that,
but you really okay? So don't look at how old is Drake now? 37. Don't look at 37-year-old Drake. Think about 27-year-old Drake. 27-year-old Drake was the corny dude that was still pulling chicks. I don't think he had to lean on his money dude then because he was actually being more himself.
Well, that's impossible to prove because you know what I'm saying. We would have to actually go into a room as men because men have we don't know that.
Let me finish my point though. Let me finish my point. The current Drake we have now is something again I don't think a lot of people are thinking about. We have midlife crisis Drake right now. Midlife crisis Drake
that could be true.
Is trying to move like the young people of now when he needs to have several seats and just go back to being corny Drake. We loved corny Drake because he was different. Yeah. If you go back and look at the Hotline Bling,
you're right. No, you're right.
The Hotline Bling video, everybody was like, "This dude cannot dance," but it was so attractive to watch.
You know what?
Because he was just being a corny dude having fun.
You know what?
But now you out here trying to be like 21 Savage, sir. You're a middle-aged man trying to act like you still in your 20s. Yeah, you ain't even putting out hits like that no more. You got a few here and there.
I think you're right. I think it's because I remember corny Drake on the sideline at games, and it was kind of like just fun. And it was like, you know what? It was like, man, leave that man alone, man. Let that man do him. And you're apt now when that's the case, when you are genuinely a corny dude, being a corny dude, having fun. I will say this: yes, money will change. Money will amplify any dynamic. Yeah, any dynamic. If you're the dude with the most swag or the least, put $100 million in either one of their bank accounts and let it be shown. We're gonna know it. So you take corny Drake and you take the most swagged out dude and you put them on courtside seats. Both of them can walk away with whoever they want to walk away with. But there is a crop of women that without that, if you just corny Drake, they like corny dudes. And then there's the swag dudes usually get the pick of all the litters and that's fine. My only thing in all of it is I don't care what them dudes think about this dude. I'm like, we're not talking about, I understand the feeling, but we ain't talking about some morally or ethically upright position. Y'all talking about moving in a fuckboy fashion with women. I think y'all just got to kind of feel how y'all feel, but be quiet about it. Outside of him dirty macking. Dirty macking is wrong in all spaces. But just because the man want to be a trick, man, let that man be a trick and leave him alone about it. And just look at him and be like,
T.I. got a whole song. It ain't tricking if you got it. Let it trick off and be done.
Like I wouldn't treat him some way. I'd laugh and joke about him. Like, look at this lame man thing over here, man. But I wouldn't treat that dude no way because he's in the space. So if he's in the space, however he got here. I'm not gonna treat him some way. And I wonder if these guys treat him a certain way. And that's where I'm like, my empathy goes out because we're not talking
I think they
about,
do treat him different. And that's why
like that's not
he's now trying to wear this persona.
Yeah.
Because he didn't need to, he's never needed to wear the persona. He was fine as he was. But it's like when you do all of this and you're trying to get the respect of your peers and they still Degrassi joking your tail, oh, well, now I really gotta show them. And it's like for the people who are intelligent on the outside looking in, it's like, but you didn't have to do that. Like you stood on your own. You developed imposter syndrome because you're trying to be on the playing field with a bunch of dudes who actually ain't even in your league. You're in a whole other league. Not that your league is higher or lower than theirs. You're just different.
You're just doing your own thing.
Right.
You remember that scene in the movie? What movie was that? Was it? It was Goodfellas. When dude tried to clown old dude from shining shoes. Dude had got out there, was in the bar. Dude was like, hey man, remember you used to shine shoes? And dude was like, yeah, I don't shine shoes no more. And then he was like, oh man, I'm just messing with you. I'm messing with you. I remember you used to shine shoes. He's like, all right, man, chill. That was the guy Joe Pesci was playing. Mm-hmm. And then dude said something else slick. He's like, all right, just go get your shine. And then dude came back and he murked him up in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like
so I can imagine. So yeah, I can imagine, Drake getting spaces and he's just doing him And then you only hey man, do one of them lines from that movie. Come on, yeah. See that I don't agree with that energy. I'm not gonna give you that. I can think you lame all day. If you in this same space, I'm not gonna bother you about how lame I think you are. You in the space.
Then
you doing what I'm doing.
When the Dirty Mac and stuff started. When did the Dirty Mac and stuff started? After the fact. Drake wasn't out here dirty macking in the beginning.
Well, yeah. Now he probably circling back, like, since y'all want to trip on me, let me show y'all.
Right, y'all always got something to say about me.
But hold on, but Joe just said it ain't just rappers though. It's he circling back. They say he's circling back on executives, chicks. They say everybody.
Hey, anybody can get this work. Y'all done messed with me. Because you got to think, when he first came out, he was like really on his craft, trying to prove himself in the industry. I remember the very first time I heard a Drake song, it was the best I ever had. And I've been following him to the T ever since. He's a favorite. I knew he wasn't the gangster dude that everybody, well, half of the rest of Young Money was, but he had the ability to do what he needed to do, and he made a good track with it. I'm with it. I like your art, but you mess with somebody too long, they gonna return fire. Yeah. And I think that's what he's doing. But at the same time, he's returning fire. He's also realizing he's a middle-aged man in the rap game. And I don't think he mentally prepared himself for that. And you can tell this by the interview he did with Lil Yachty. And Lil Yachty called him old. That man's brain cut off for a second when that boy called him old. Like, yeah, you getting up there.
You know what?
Like, well,
what's crazy? And this is what's unfortunate about hip-hop. Only in hip-hop is that the thing that people do. But I also want to say I think it's also because hip-hop is still the baby amongst the genres, right? They don't do that in rock. In every other genre, they celebrate as you age in that genre. It's only in hip-hop that they try to practice some sort of ageism, as if your talent diminished once your talent is only going to get better if you keep doing it. Right. You know what I'm saying? Relevance, but I think because it's such a young people, it gets all the young people. The needle moves by the amount of the youth that are checking for you, which is changing. Now that's starting to change.
Because we're getting older as hip hop.
Yeah, we're getting older in hip hop, and what's happening is the fans are getting older and they going back to their favorites. Their favorites might not be as relevant as they were when they're younger, but they will still. If you just keep doing what you're doing and you keep turning out music that your fan group likes, you're gonna still generate a lot of income doing it. And every once in a while, you're gonna pull something out your ass that everybody's gonna want to. Busta Rhymes always pulls something from somewhere that every young, old, every time you turn around, like, damn, he on a track with who? And they come to find him to get on a track because he's still busy putting in that work. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I think it's a little hypocritical, man. But Sam, man, you would come in here and just be the good guy. You just would just say, okay, I know I'm gonna move. Oh, nice. You get on my nerves, man. You get on my nerves, man. So I gotta say this. Me and Sam had a side conversation. He said, I'm the dude. He said I was the dude that a lot of these manosphere dudes be complaining about. We was talking about some of my escapades, and he just bust out laughing and said, "You the dude that they complaining about. The way you, he was like, that's you." He said, and then you got the nerve to be out here telling these dudes what they should and shouldn't be doing. He said, man, I don't want to hear that from me.
I can see that because you kind of reckless.
I was. Now, listen, man, I was, man.
You were kind of reckless.
A little long time ago, man. Back in the day. Anyway, way back in the day. Anyway, she said. I mean, when I say, you say, sure that long ago?
Because I've known you now, it's been 11, 12 years?
For a good stretch. SKRETCH, stretch. Good stretch. Yeah, man.
I give you maybe a year before Bree.
Listen. And that was by design. We had that conversation too, everything.
All I know is it popped up. Was it engagement photos?
No, it was the wedding photos, but I had been chill for a minute. I had been.
This is fair. You had been out of the groups for a little minute. That's why I said
like,
a year before Bree, and no more than that.
No more than that. Wow. Wow. Back in the day, boy. Anyway. One of the things I want to get into a little bit, man, the Superwoman trope, and I want to talk about what Felicia Rashad had to say about setting them damn boundaries, because boy, like, and I want to know, is setting boundaries the way for Black women to basically avoid the Superwoman trope? You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna play that video, man. She said it so gracefully, but she was firm when she said what she said. Basically, when she said what her mama said, and that reminded me, man. It made my hair stand up a little bit, because I remember some women in my family, boy, saying, "Hey, these are the things right here." And it's not a bunch. It's not like they were mean or super authoritative. It's just like, these are the things. We're not gonna violate those spaces. But anyway, I'm gonna let her rock.
I want to ask you one last question before I open it up to the audience for questions, and that is, we talked a little bit about being superwomen, and so much is built on the backs of Black women. We can do it all, and often are asked to, and we take care of everybody else.
Yeah, we do.
So who takes care of us?
Well, if we don't, nobody does.
Okay.
You know, this was another discussion I was having this morning with a friend. I said, you know, it's so easy for us as women to give ourselves completely to the care of those whom we love. It's so easy for us as women to do this because we are nurturers by nature. And it's so easy for us to put ourselves way back over there somewhere as we deal with everybody else's whatever. And that's understandable and that's okay, but it's not always good. It's not always the best thing to do, and it doesn't always serve the people whom we love best. Because first of all, it doesn't give people an opportunity to know who we are and what we think about and what we aspire to. If we're living with people and they don't know this, then we have to ask ourselves, I would think, what role have I played in them not knowing this? See, my mother made sure that we knew who she was. There was going to be no question about it. I am a creative person. I am your mother. I love you very much. Yes, there will be breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yes, you will have clean clothes. Yes, you will live in a clean house. But I am a creative person. So you do not call me before 7 o'clock in the morning because I'm writing. You do not touch my papers because they're important to me. You do not disregard the importance of books, and you don't put a glass of water on the piano. Yes, yes, yes.
Man, listen, I'm talking, man, I still make my hair stand up. Because the nature in which she said what she said, and that can be anything. Those are just her mom's thing. Anything. Women, I truly believe should set those boundaries. And if they have husbands or men in their lives that are protectors, that claim to be fucking protectors and providers, you got to know what that list is, and you got to also, as a man, make sure nobody violates that. Because with those rules she just set, if that was my grandmother, my grandfather would have been on a hunt for anybody violating those rules. It would have been his fingers were like these big old fat dinosaur fingers. And the moment he would have saw me sit a glass on a piano, if my grandmother played the piano and told us that wasn't a thing, he would have came over and his big rock hard finger would have been like, bow. Go ahead and get it. And if I wouldn't have got it, it would have been another one quick. Like, I'd have been getting thumped until I realized, oh, get the glass, get the glass, get the glass. Now go wipe that up. Now make sure that I'm marked. Now let me go get you this wood stuff because you finna go over here. Now you finna buff it. Now you finna shine it. Now you finna show good and well that this ain't what you do. Because my wife said so. So it's important that if women do set these boundaries, and there are men in their lives that really love them and gonna protect and provide, motherfucker, you better be like the guardian. You better be standing there like that. Them old Russian guards that just sit there and don't move until somebody violates something. Hey, that's just what it got to be.
I think a lot of, and this is just my opinion. I think a lot of black women, they don't set an expectation. They don't set an expectation as a precaution. They just react when something is off. You know what I mean? Like, if a good thing is good thinking, then they're just going with the flow. But when the turbulence comes, that's when you want to, react to it instead of safeguarding the good thing with parameters before the turbulence can even happen. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I base that on life experience. Like, I can't remember a set of rules that my grandma made, that my great grandma made, my aunt, my great aunt. All these women took part in raising me, like, hands-on my whole childhood. My mama, up until I was 15 when she passed, I can't remember that do not. It was just, if something happened they didn't like, they'll jump on it. Instead of saying, this is what I require of you, this is what I expect of you, this is what I demand. And if these expectations ain't met, this is what's gonna happen. Yeah. So, especially in parenting, also in relationships, and even I'm guilty of it myself, because I had realized some time ago that I never thought about what I wanted. I never thought about what I didn't want. You know what I mean? So I didn't have an itemized list of do's and don'ts for whoever I chose to date and for who I chose to marry. It's just, by the grace of God, I didn't marry retarded women.
I use that term. That's a flag.
Oh, my bad.
Now you could.
I mean, what y'all saying is cute. It's real cute because you are speaking from a place where women have choices.
Right.
We don't. Oftentimes, the Superwoman trope is pushed on us. And it's not necessarily pushed on us in adulthood. It's pushed on us as little girls. I sat on a panel today for women in STEM. And I was the only Black woman on the panel, and all of these other women, I wasn't the only woman of color, but the only Black woman. And they talked about, oh yeah, I got into STEM because of my mentors and this, that, and the other. One of the older women talked about, she struggled in STEM because at her age, women weren't allowed to do a lot of things. So that's where her struggles lie. But everybody's like, oh yeah, I had a mentor, they do this, that, and the other, this, and the other. And I was like, I didn't have any of that. As a Black woman in an inner city school, I was told Black women are teachers or nurses in the 90s. I didn't have any support. So, you speak like, well, women don't set boundaries or this, that, and the other. We're not even told we're allowed to have boundaries until we're probably in our 30s.
Oh, you talking about like from a foundational perspective? Y'all never even know that that's a thing y'all
don't
can
even
do.
know it's an option.
Right, that's
like if you think about say single motherhood. A lot of people always say, oh, well, she should have chose better and this, that, and the other. And she should have just been so loose with her body, blah, 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 blah. But we got to factor in that we're not typically taught choice when it comes to even who we date. It's usually if a guy shows you some attention, you know, give him a chance.
I had a sister.
You got to get a husband.
Chevy, I had a sister specifically say that a couple of months back that she was never taught how to vet, and she said the only thing she was left to is which guy showed the most attention. That's who she gave the shot.
The most attention, and then ultimately who had the better job. This is what, at least in the 80s and 90s, especially if you had a single mom as your mother growing up, or God forbid, for a lot of girls during the 80s and 90s, we were raised by our grandparents. Mm-hmm. And what did grandmama tell us? The grandparents were telling their daughters one of two things: don't need a man for nothing, or accept any man that'll take you. So this realm of, oh, well, you got to choose to set your boundaries. Nobody told us that.
Yeah, it wasn't enough of those women.
Nobody told us that. We just got to a point as a generation of us elder millennials and Gen Xers. It's like, we ain't going to keep being your mules. We're tired. We don't want to be the strong Black woman. We don't want to do any of that. But our grandparents, our great-grandparents, our great-great-grandparents, it's the Black woman's job to do blah, 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 blah. This is what we're constantly told as girls. Black men, oh, y'all can do what y'all do as long as y'all come home and pay all the bills. No, you ain't got to show your wife no affection. You ain't got to actually love her. Just pay all the bills to her and your two secret families across town. This is what Black men were told. And for Black women, as long as he paying the bills, accept it. So there was no realm of setting boundaries. Even now, for many Black women, it's hard to set boundaries. And you know how I even came across this. My babysitter and I were talking about this just last night. Shout out Tina Sidibe. Love her to pieces. I love my babysitter.
I like that. I like that name. That's Sidibe. Boy.
Yeah.
Sidibe. Wait, Tina Sidibe, and she sits the babies for you. God damn, boy, that is a name, boy. Only somebody with bars could have understood that. Tina Sidibe, she made that up. That ain't her real name. I bet you
that is absolutely her real name. Anyway,
the baby sitting the babies. All right.
Oh my God, I can't stand him. I cannot. But you know, I got to really thinking about why do this came from another post on Facebook, and it was talking about why do Black women lead with their accomplishments. And, you know, they're like, oh, well, your accomplishments are professional, but your mate doesn't really care about any of those things. But for typical Black women, the accomplishments are based off of what she wanted for herself. Mm-hmm. Outside of the Superwoman trope, where we spend all of this time supporting everybody else, those degrees we got because we wanted them. So for us, it's a sense of pride. And many women understand, or many women don't understand actually, that men don't care about that. But this is why women lead with, well, I'm a good catch because I have a degree, I have good money, I do this, I do that, I do that. For us, it's important to have been able to have our own identity outside of all of this care we're supposed to provide everybody else. It's very important for us because we were traditionally not taught to do any of that. We were taught to just take it. Just accept what is given to you. Pour into other people. Don't worry about being poured into because it's just hard out here. You know, these are the conversations. Even for me as a single parent right now, I struggle with that. Not necessarily because single parenting is hard, and not to say it isn't, it's tremendously hard. But I struggle with it because I came from a family of single parent women, and the bitterness that came out of that was so tremendous. I said, I never want that to be me. And that bitterness came from, I'm having to sacrifice because the man who helped bring these children into the world, or even in some cases, my child who brought these kids into the world, have dropped them off at my house, and now I'm having to sacrifice everything I actually wanted for myself to make sure they're okay. Me and my grandmother fought a lot growing up And every time we would get into an argument, she would always say, "Do you know how much I gave up for you?" And those types of those things are what we see as women. We see everybody around us giving up themselves to raise their families, to take care of their husbands, to even take care of their elder parents. And God forbid there's a special needs a person to care for. Women statistically, it isn't even just black women. Women statistically, are the caretakers in all aspects. Yep. Even when you ain't nurses or none of that, but you expected to know how to be a CNA, and you ain't went to school for none of that. Whole license is needed, but you expected to do that just because you're the woman. So the whole boundaries thing, to be able to exercise and state you have boundaries, is a privilege. It's a privilege. It's never been positioned as a right for women, especially black women.
And that's why I said what I said in the group chat. Like, hearing that, realizing, see, she's not talking with, in this particular platform, she's not talking with a bunch of women that are like, yeah, girl, this is how we do, this is how we did, this is what we know. She's speaking to an audience. So I took myself and I said, okay, imagine the audience, right? I'm like, and if she's speaking to this audience, this is what this audience needs to hear. I grew up in a structure that I thought that this was the norm based on what my grandma's aunts and them, and they had the backing of men. If they were with men, they had the backing of men. So that kind of shaped my worldview early on. That okay, that's just how I move, and gravitate towards women that understand those dynamics. And it even was a point. I'm like, well, even if they don't understand those dynamics, I as the man can lead strong enough to where I can establish that order in her life. If there was some shortcomings, I've always said on these posts where women, one woman made a post the other day, said, the kindest women always getting drugged the most. And I said, you know what? It's unfortunate. I said, but often the kindest people, women included, but the kindest people need other people to kind of bar the gates a little bit, because kind people can't help it. They just want to give everything away. Be there for everybody. You got to have that one person that, oh man, she got enough. Yeah, they good. They good. No, they ain't got nothing for you today. Yeah, no, you can't come in today. Today Thursday. You doing whatever they doing. Because if you don't bar the gates all day, every day, somebody be coming in there getting a meal, getting a bowl of cereal, getting a bag of rice, getting something. Well, I just took my last $20 out of the ATM and I gave it to such and such son. And I'm like, what the hell you do that for? Well, they said they needed it. See, that's when you got to have a husband that's gonna say, boy, don't come down the street no more. Don't come down the street asking my wife for nothing no more. You know what I'm saying? It's those. So I saw that growing up. So I realized that that's a privilege for me to even realize that's a thing, and then even project out to say women should. You know what I'm saying? Women absolutely should. Boundaries is everything, boy.
I teach my daughters to establish boundaries now that they're old enough to understand. I teach them to have a standard, and I ask them, one, what does respect look like to you, and what are your standards? What standards you want to have for yourself? And once you figure that out and know that for yourself, create boundaries to protect that. I was never taught that. I don't even think the elders in my family were taught that, because I come from a matriarchy structure, and I don't think they was ever taught that, because they were always doing and doing and doing and doing for everybody. And the only type of male example I saw was niggas being taken care of, including my dad. So it wasn't passed down to me and my siblings that this is how you move. This is what you do for yourself. I really didn't start paying attention until I started seeing different perspectives on it ironically, on social media. And so once I started, diving into myself, like, damn, you know what, nigga, you never did, So I'm just like, well, hold up. Now I see where the ball was dropped in my life growing up, so I'm gonna make sure I don't drop it in my kids' life, because I don't want them to be, I don't want them to be on the podcast asking questions to strangers about how should they deal with this situation and that situation because they done ran to a raggedy nigga. I'm like, nah, we're gonna teach them to set up these boundaries now, so that they'll know how to teach people how to treat them. So I appreciate that perspective and the backstory of how y'all have gotten here as women, Sheffy, because I didn't put much thought into the fact that our ancestors didn't have an opportunity. They didn't have an opportunity. I mean, from 1619, they were the mule. They were forced to be mules, men and women. And then the men adopted the ideology of white, a white patriarchal structure, and started implementing that.
We finna get into that, boy. I can't. Nigga, I'm finna. Boy, I got a video. I'm glad you said. Repeat that one time. They did what? We adopted what?
The white patriarchal structure.
Yeah. We're trying to a degree.
Ain't no trying to. Y'all did the whole phrase of black men are white women to black women. I mean, white men to black women.
You mean y'all them other motherfuckers? No.
Okay, fair. No, it's never everybody. It's never.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Like it's that. Yeah. It's literally the mantra in the black manosphere. It's not like they're looking at the way they're not looking at the structure of. They're not looking at the real structure of community that came from the diaspora, which was a village. It takes a village. The it takes a village mentality is different from this white patriarchal structure. The it takes a village mentality does take a patriarchal figure and it takes a patriarchal figure and a matriarchal figure, but they work in tandem. Yep. And they work in this village structure. So there's a hierarchy there, but it's not this patriarchy. I provide and everybody under me does everything else as long as I just pay the way. That's not that doesn't even make sense from a healthy functioning perspective, because I think that's where we ended up with dudes paying the bills thinking that that's all I have to do. That doesn't even make sense when you really think about the practical factors. Even so let me because I'm gonna go to that video. Let's just say you pay all the bills and she's a stay-at-home mom with the kids. You mean to tell me you still, once you get home, at no point do you engage in and give a moment to that wife? The only way I would say that should be the case is literally if you working from can't see to can't see, nigga. Meaning you get up at 5, and when the sun comes down that next go round, that is it. And even then, you should still show up and love on your children. And you got to take that moment. Like, I remember when we was little, we was little dudes. My grandfather, he would give us our baths. You know what I'm saying? And I swear to God, he was trying to drown us sometimes, because every time he wanted to wash our hands, you know what I'm saying? Not really, but one of my brothers, I think it was Clifton, matter of fact, he didn't like his head being put under the water. And my granddad would, what's it? And he would hold that. He was, but he.
That sounds like waterboarding, bro.
Yeah, a little bit. But he held your head back under the water for it to rinse when you washed your hair. So at any rate, my grandmother, after she did the things that grandmama did all day and granddaddy got home, he had dinner with us. And then when we got in the tub, he made sure we was good in the tub. We would dry it off and everything. So it was always a 2 hands-on thing. And then I saw my granddaddy, after all that, go out to go see and check on and put me in the truck and say, all right, we finna go check on Ain't Dot. We finna check on Ain't this. We finna check on this person. We gonna check on this person. And he had some stuff. You know what I'm saying? So how did we get so far removed from that? The only way I can imagine is if we started adopting some shit that we weren't supposed to adopt.
No,
that's the
how
only
we
way.
got away from that is fathers being in the home. That's exactly how.
But then what did we adopt? But see, then what did those? But see, so the daddies wasn't in the home. Then those young men grew up. What did they try to? That's what I'm saying. The father's not being in the home, showing what my grandfather showed, right? Though, if you didn't have that type of man, you grew up, and you're trying to adopt a structure. Remember, a lot of these dudes in the manosphere. Let's be clear. Kevin Samuels didn't have no goddamn daddy at home. Didn't have it. He wasn't there. A lot of these dudes didn't have them. They weren't there. So they're trying to adopt something from somewhere. And the black manosphere is a spinoff from the white manosphere. I'm finna go into that goddamn video right now.
It is.
Since we cooking. You know what I'm saying? Because that's truly what we got to address. We can't just be trying to duplicate what seems to have worked for everybody else.
Because the amount of incels, even though on the white side, has quadrupled, so it ain't working.
Yeah, it's not working. It's not working. And honestly, and let me add this other to it. The financial backing it takes for some of these dudes to, I guess be patriarchal in that way. Man, think about it now. Real talk. You need to have money on top of money to really be able to sit and not do nothing, because you need to be able to hire that woman some help. She needs some relief if you're gonna enjoy that marriage. But I'm gonna play this video because this guy he mentions that black manosphere to white manosphere transition, and it's real important that we gotta acknowledge it for what it is. But this particular segment, we're just going to talk about cultural gatekeeping, and it kind of just ties into each other.
Would you argue that Johnson was a slave name?
Absolutely.
And that other American Africans should drop theirs?
Ultimately, yes. The reason I'll pause when I ask that question is sometimes I think as African people, whether we're in America, Africa, the Caribbean, or throughout the diaspora, sometimes we focus too much on superficialities as opposed to substantive change. So in other words, every African in the diaspora could drop our European names, take an African name, and we should. But is that the priority? No. Freedom, justice, and liberation is the priority.
And similarly, the black manosphere is just the black side of a white person's idea. Because I've been trying to wrestle with how can a space that claims to be a black thing not be pro-black? And I realized that the genesis of it was never pro-black. The manosphere didn't care about black people. So instead of creating a separate space that was interested in the progress of black people, black men in particular, we really were just the bastard stepson of the white manosphere. And that's why there is so much confusion about what it is that we're doing here, right? So I think it's time that we search our hearts and figure out what the hell are we trying to do? Are we just trying to be McDonald's? Because McDonald's is already taken? Or are we trying to start our own thing and create bylaws, a mission statement, a vision statement? What is it that we're doing here? Or are we just complaining about women? To your point, the reason it's like herding cats is because we can't get on the same page, and we say, oh, we're not a monolith, as if that's a good thing. You should be a monolith if you're trying to get some stuff done. You should have a clear structure. You should have
pause right there. Man, look, boy, let me tell you something real quick. That is so accurate. It should be factual. It should be studied. It should be examined, and it should be put into practice. What that man just said is it. And people don't be wanting to buy it, but I'm telling you, you can't tell a motherfucker that's been 19 years in the military that does not work. It works. It gets it done. You have to have a set of rules and standards that does not bend or break for nobody. And you step outside of them, we excommunicate you. we give you a dishonorable discharge when you step so far out of these parameters that you can't even reference that you used to belong here. You got to explain to people that I can't use this military reference because what I did was so egregious. I can't even use it. And people don't realize how damning that is. You go in this day and age, you go do something for 10 years and you can't account for that time. It's better to say you was in prison for 10 years than to be able to say I did nothing. Oh, you won't function out here. So absolutely we need to be monolithic. And I've said this so many times. It doesn't mean we have to be monolithic in all areas of our personal existence. But as a community, bylaws need to be set. Hey, we don't have children before marriage. Hey, if you marry, you like whatever they are, but you maintain and you just hold that line right there. I think that's very critical that he said that, like, because without it, you have everybody thinking they can do anything and nobody willing to listen to nobody and nobody standing by anything. And I want to give the rest of this video. I don't know if y'all want to time it, but I wholeheartedly believe that we need to have some level of monolith in order to build our own thing.
I agree.
It's interesting to think about that, because if you look at the community that is probably progressing the most here in the United States, it's Asian Americans. And you have several different versions. I don't know if versions is the correct word. I'm not intending to be obtuse, but you have several different cultures that are represented across the Asian American diaspora. You have, different versions of East Asian. You have different versions of South Asian. You have Polynesian culture. You have all of these representations that largely in part still represent one thing sociologically: the model minority. So how is it that these vastly different cultures can still represent a certain monolith, so to speak? If you look at, say, we had a conversation about this with regard to HR. You look at naming children. You see a resume that says Sandeep Patel. That resume for a certain, technical job is going to be looked at faster than Letitia Johnson, even though probably both of them are qualified. But it's because the standard has been set that Asian Americans are much more likely to be highly intelligent, highly work-driven, and just overall great work ethic. Whereas the antithesis of that for Black people has been they lazy and they steal, the various stereotypes that are applied to Black people. I remember distinctly I had a student who's Asian American, and I was quite surprised that this student was flunking my class. Because even in my mind, I'm thinking, the stereotype as well. Typically, across the board, Asian American students have done exceedingly well in college. And I had this student who was just not progressing. And I'm like, something's got to be going on at home. But again, the standard is set that Asian American people are much more likely to be progressive in their careers, in family, in overall wealth building. All of these things are happening. So we as Black people always say, well, Black people we aren't a monolith. Some people want different things. But shouldn't the success of Black people be something everybody wants? Mm-hmm. So what is the mission and vision statement of that? And I think a lot of the reason why Black people can't come to a consensus of what that monolith should be is because we're grasping for other cultures that are not our own. We don't have our own culture.
Yep.
So the little culture we have, when it comes back to the whole gatekeeping piece, if we see a white girl on TikTok that has a little bit of rhythm, oh, you coming to the cookout? Why is this a thing? Mm-hmm. Why
she cool, man. We can fuck with her. She cool. Yeah.
And it's not that you're telling you, it's not that we should be on the opposite end of you barred from it, but it's the for me, it's just like, why do we have to be so welcoming into the culture all of the time in a way that actually diminishes our culture? Yes, other cultures invite you in, but they let you know you're a visitor.
Yes.
They will let you know in a heartbeat you're a visitor.
Yes.
Certain things, oh yeah, you can, wear this, or you can use this music doing this, but you need to pay.
You still ain't one of us. You still ain't one of us. Yes.
But for us, like we had that blurred group, Extraordinary Journey of a Black Nerd. The first group. And people started getting like, wait a minute, I thought this was a group for us. But it's mixed now because, of course, a lot of us date interracially. Well, my partner should be able to be in here and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, that's fine. I get it. It's not that we want to be exclusive. Like, we don't want to necessarily go out of our way to exclude people. But why is it necessary to include? Why is that a thing for us? And we're the only kind of culture that does it. And what it has done is it has washed our culture so much that many of us don't even know what our culture is. And in turn, the world sees hood culture as Black culture. When Black culture has nothing to do with that. It's just hood culture. But because we as Black people don't necessarily latch on to the things that make us us, we're floundering because we're trying to latch on to these other things. And then people out there are also making decisions on what they think our culture is. So they're appropriating culture based on them thinking that. You even look at, say, the what you call them? Oh, the lesbian, the Black lesbian, right? Or Black lesbian, or the not necessarily lesbian, the what do you call them? Oh my God, they're just like studs. Yes, stud culture. Why?
I was gonna say that long word that I shouldn't say.
Don't say that one. Don't say that one. Don't say that.
Start with a bull.
Why is stud culture akin to dressing like hood dudes? Why is that a thing?
Because we know why. Because Black women love a hooding.
No.
But that's why it is.
Because they haven't developed a culture of their own, so they're latching on to anything.
But they're latching on to our morphed up, our janky old thing that, well, Black women, that's what Black women want. And Black women can be out there saying, we don't want it. We don't want it. I didn't date it. I didn't want it. Like, I was joking with my wife the other day, man. We were sitting in a parking lot waiting on some takeout, and a vehicle was beating down the block. And she's like, I don't understand why people got to do that. I said, see, you don't understand because you don't understand. I said, girl, I said, if I'd have been sitting in that vehicle and you'd have been 19 and I'd have been whatever I was, I'd have snatched you on up. She said, no, you would. She said, you absolutely would not. I said, I would have turned down my music. And I said, and you'd have looked over there like I was a fool. And I said, I said, I would have had something. I said, if I could have at least made you laugh in that moment, but I can understand why she would have been turned off. Because that was just so ill to her. Like, why is the music loud? Why does he have gold teeth in his mouth? Why is he doing that? Like, why is that a thing? There's so many Black women that are repelled by that.
Yeah.
That they ain't even give you a chance to show nothing different. You know what I'm saying? So, but the idea is that no, all y'all want the same crop and the same type. It's crazy. I want to play the rest of this video real quick. You want to jump in on this real quick, Frank?
I was going to talk about the Mondo thing. I was going to say
go ahead, jump in real quick. Yeah, get your part in on that.
In Genesis, the people decided they was going to build a tower to heaven, and it went on to say God saw them, and the tower was stacking. God was like, hey, if we don't do something, these folk will make it up here. He said, let's go down and confuse the languages. So before that, everybody spoke the same language. And I'm using that as a metaphor for they had an understanding of one goal.
Mm-hmm.
And it said God said that with them being so united, there's nothing, I'm paraphrasing, there's nothing they won't be able to accomplish. So, still, metaphorically speaking, we have to speak the same language. We can't be so obsessed with being the oddball. I'm not that type of black person. I'm not that type of black person. I'm not that black person. To everybody else, you still a nigga. They don't, like, if you get pulled over by the police, he don't care if you got on goth clothes. He don't care that your fingernails are black or you playing some heavy metal music. He don't care that you got a Trump bumper sticker on your car. You still black, regardless of who you want to affiliate with, who you want to be connected with, or regardless of who your tribe is. That tribalism mentality is what kills us. So
and when you think, go ahead. My bad. Go ahead. My bad.
No, I was just gonna wrap it up with, if we want to see progression, we don't have to think the same, but we definitely have to share the same language.
Yes. Yeah. Because with all the tribes on the continent of Africa, with all the tribes, the countries, the states, the territories, everything that you want to consider, had they all just said, we ain't letting them motherfuckers up in through here, they would have had to live. That means anybody on the outside would have actually had to enact war to come get it. That's how difficult you got to make it for somebody to come get it. You can't open the doors and say, come in and have a seat. You have to make it to, well, if you want this, we telling you can't have it. We limiting your access. So the only way you get it, you got to come knock down these doors and take it. And that's not what they did. But anyway, I want to play the rest of this here video. Yeah, this is a good one right here, boy. Y'all manosphere, y'all need to get it together, manosphere.
You should have a clear structure. You should have some kind of hierarchy, some kind of seniority. But unfortunately, we look around and it's just men bickering. To my point earlier, that's why I was so disappointed by our quote unquote leaders, because instead of having the larger conversation about cultural gatekeeping, we were having a witch hunt conversation of whether or not she's racist, right? We were having a witch hunt conversation of whether or not she's intentionally this or intentionally that. And my point has always been, she is inconsequential. She is the symptom, not the disease, right? And for us, what we need to get in the habit of doing is addressing the macro issues and putting things in place preemptively to prevent things like this from happening. So we're not constantly triggered every time a white person's, because we let them into the door. We're so used to white validation that, you know, and that's part of my critique of people like MTR, right? Because you'll see their reluctance to come on black people's panels. Black people are actually working for black people. But if somebody has the bag or somebody has, you know, the audience that you want, you'll just haphazardly go over there and, you know, it's every man for himself. That's how we think about things. And we in all honesty, don't even have the luxury to do that, but for whatever reason, we think we do. This picture was taken 45 years after slavery was abolished in the United States. This particular image is symbolic of our disposition as black people, not just in this country, but internationally. Obviously, I'm Nigerian. Some people would call me a carpetbagger. I didn't know what that meant until like 2 days ago. But my approach to this conversation is very, very international, because I believe that black progress everywhere it cannot happen unless we are tied together in some shared interest, for a common goal and a common cause. So I'm a Pan-Africanist.
Oh, and I'm gonna let that segue right into this next one that y'all share, because it's pretty much on the same topic.
I don't think that we have a unified Black agenda enough to say that we want this Black culture to all be something that we're involved in. Black culture is a buzzword that everybody, just feels like, it just feels right to say Black culture, but we don't have a unified Black agenda. So if we did want to have a unified Black agenda, it would have to center around not glorifying anything that is negative and harmful to us as Black people. So that would mean we can't glorify murder in our media. We can't. If we got music that's glorifying murder, if you got a documentary that's speaking on things that have happened, that's different. You're reporting, you're narrating. But if we are putting stuff out here that doesn't have a point to the story, you know what I'm saying? Like, I talk about murder in my music, like, for real, but it's not about what you do, it's about how you do it. What context is it presented in? So if we're glorifying murder, if we're glorifying drug dealing, drug use, the disrespect of women, and sexual irresponsibility, that shouldn't be a part of Black culture moving forward. That's what we would need first. We would need to cease the glorification of murder, drug dealing, drug use, the disrespect of women, and sexual irresponsibility. That's first on my list.
Only reason I believe that, man, I agree. I just believe it's the money that people want, that the money that they can make by peddling that, and the fact that many of us still consume it at such an alarming rate, it'll never go away. Like, how do you stop people from going to make money? You know what I'm saying? I guess you would establish the community outside of that. So within the community, we don't listen to that. You know what I'm saying? They say you might only need 30 people to jump it off, but those 30 people are like the Amish. The Amish just don't do certain things, period. They don't give a damn what you're talking about. Them Amish people, they gonna move how they move. And they've left the world on the outside of it. I'm not saying we have to go to that extreme. I'm just saying we have to have those same principles to actually get something moving. You have to have an absolute unified agenda. You know what I'm saying? I think they just kind of drove the point home a little bit more right there, because they use specifics, and I'm not saying that those specifics are the ones, but we need some.
I mean, you have to think about, like, when hip hop first started, what was hip hop all about? It wasn't about the glorification of these things so much as it was storytelling. It was, telling what happened in these areas based on, how we were living our lives as people in various areas, whether it was police brutality or whether it was slanging dope, whatever it was telling the story of what happened. Mm-hmm. Then at some point in probably the 90s, we started to glorify gangster culture and thug culture.
You know why I think it happened, Chef? Honestly,
why?
If you listen to Kevin Giles, please, if y'all get a chance to listen to his interview, he's one of like very few late 80s, early 90s drug dealers that survived it, and he's came out and he the whole paid in full thing. He's on the scene and he explains what happened. Essentially, was that the heroin dealers and the crack dealers, they're not the same generation. The heroin dealers were the old heads. Those were your Bumpy Johnsons. Those were dude from American Gangster that Denzel played. That was that era. So the heroin dealers were a group of guys. They still had a certain code of ethics, and they moved a certain way. They were very similar in ethos to the Italian mafia.
Right.
The crack era fused with gang culture to establish dominance and competition among each other. So they didn't even have the same principles. And truth be told, Kevin Giles breaks it down easily. He says, because we was a bunch of 18, we were 15 to 25. Whereas those other dudes were old dudes.
Like 30, 40, 50s.
They were, they had lived, they seasoned a little bit. But go ahead. I want you to go ahead and continue your point.
But it's Shoot, I done lost my name train of thought.
Damn, I'm sorry.
But
no, you were making the point that rap at one point was just talking about it, and then they went to glorifying it.
Right. So in the 90s, that's when we started glorifying that culture. By the 2000s, it was glorifying drug use. Now it's an extension of glorifying drug use to now you're not only talking about drug use, you're also talking about drugging other people.
Yep.
You're also talking about depression and harming yourself. So it's like we have watched hip hop go through this cycle of excitement to depression over the last 40 years or so. And
I turned on Arrested Development the other day, and it just felt
that was my album.
Good. Tennessee, man, throw on that Arrested Development Tennessee album. Man, we listened to the album the whole day. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you, Chef.
No, it's all good.
It just felt so good listening to Tennessee.
Yeah. And even in that particular song, he was telling me, he's like, yeah, I'm out here looking funny in my gear, and this gangster dude run up on me, and I popped him one, like, don't try me.
Yeah,
and that kind of thing, in that conversation, we would look at him as the victor. But today, they'd be like, who that lame dude dressed like that? The gangster dude would be the one who should win. So at some point in the process of hip hop, we have decided to glorify the negatives as if it's what's championing us. And this goes back to the Drake conversation as well. We were talking about, dudes who had certain swag versus this guy who was a lame kind of thing. In his insecurity, I believe, of who he was as a person, he decided to transform into this quote unquote gangster. Because that's what's popping right now. So hip hop is doing the same thing. What's popping right now is the negative pieces of the Black experience. I won't call it the Black
boy. The fuck boy. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's our experience.
Future is revered because he's a fuck boy.
Man, but y'all, but the same people will tell you to choose better when it comes to dating a man like Future, but Russell is a lame.
Yeah.
How? Or Sierra is a trash woman because of how she dresses. You mean how she dresses because her husband pick out her clothes? I'm confused.
Because the thing is, it's not even about Russell. And I know I'm preaching to the choir, but it ain't about Russell.
Yeah.
It's about them niggas feeling like Sierra, because she chose Future first, and he represent the nigga that used to pick the girls up from high school in the Monte Carlo that they still salty about. Because she chose Future first and had a baby by him, they think or feel Sierra has or should have no opportunity
ever in life, ever again.
Redemption.
Ever again.
As if she need to be redeemed from something, but they look at it like she doesn't deserve redemption. She doesn't deserve the good guy now because she undoubtedly passed up a good guy to go with Future. And I believe that's what they tell themselves.
Yeah, she can't course correct. And I'm like, bro, man, I'll be straight up. If all of us in life weren't allowed to ever course correct, woo, if mom went, boy. You
would not be married right now.
Man, I wouldn't be. If I wasn't allowed to course correct, man, we not having this conversation. If I wasn't allowed to just say, "Oh, that ain't a good move right there." Oh, I dodged that bullet. Let me fall back. Let me not go there. Come on, man.
And it's so unfortunate because everybody talks about systematic oppression and things like that when it comes to describing the Black experience. And we know these systematic things exist, but a lot of it doesn't need to exist because a lot of it we do on our own.
At this point, we're doing it to ourselves now. The system the system can absolutely instantly dissolve in its entirety tomorrow with no actual practical application, and we are so still eating ourselves at this point, it wouldn't matter.
Yep.
It would still take us years.
Now, in the same sense, I don't ever want to hear somebody not of the diaspora to say those words. They don't have they don't have the qualification to say to a black person, we could dismantle the system and y'all will kill yourselves. Because at that point, throw the hat, rally the bros, we got to go. So it's definitely a conversation, especially when it comes to, like he was describing, music in general and how it deters from the unified agenda. I agree. And like, while I'm a champion for women having their own voices, their own determining their own trajectory, navigating their own bodies, some of the women liberation sexual music we're hearing now, I'm like, y'all going a little far.
It's a bit much.
Y'all a little much.
Reel it back now. Like, okay, like, come on back. Come on back.
A little bit. Like, yeah. I was okay with Cardi because it's like Cardi talking about what she do with her husband. I'm good with that. But some of the others, it's like they asked Sexy Red the question, you know, what's the biggest lie somebody ever told on you? And she's like, my thing ain't fat. What, ma'am? Really? That's it? That's all you got going for you, huh? Okay.
It's so bad because you have to, in order to gain notoriety, you have to, as an act, be willing to go further. It's almost as if hip hop is the new porn, right? Old school porn. I don't know if y'all got. There was some very basic things going on back in the day. In the industry, if you watch any documentaries on the industry, they say when the women first come in, they can do some of the basics. But as you gain popularity, you got to start getting more and more visceral in your acts. You got to start participating in more and more shit that you say you wouldn't do. So women said, hey, I'm not going to do threesomes. Couple of years later, she doing threesomes. I ain't going to do anal. Couple of years later, she doing that. Well, I ain't going to do this. Couple of years, like in order to gain. So with hip hop, it's the same thing. Hip hop is porn. The women can't say the stuff that's just on the level no more. They got to take it another level. They got to take it a step further. And the men got to do the same thing with violence. Mm-hmm. It ain't enough to say you. It ain't enough to say you gonna whoop a nigga ass. Now you gotta stab. It ain't enough to say stab. Now you gotta bust your gun. And instead of getting him, you gotta get him and his whole family. Instead of getting him and his whole family, you gotta go back and dig him up out the grave when he dead and smoke on him like he's some tuka. You gotta keep going to show that you are worse than the last person that they dealt with.
That's
shock value. Shock value, man. It's
shock value. That's all it is.
And just people in general have an obsession of or an obsession for shock value. You remember that when the internet was still kind of new and they had what was it called? Faces of Death, something like that?
Yes. You have Faces of Death, Traces of Death, and then there's like 2 more movies. There's like 4 movies total.
Mm-hmm.
Like it got popular so fast because of the shock of it. And I guess it piqued the curiosity of average people because you don't see that stuff every day. Mm-hmm. So I think with music, where we're at now, you have to say the next shocking thing that you don't ordinarily hear every day. So that gets people gets people talking, and the more you talk about something, especially these days, the more people talking about it, the more people indulging in it.
More clicks you gonna get.
Huh?
More clicks you gonna get.
More clicks, yeah.
Yeah. And it becomes that's how wrong becomes right. If you get enough people to agree that what was once wrong is now acceptable, it becomes the new right.
Yep.
And what was right, that was acceptable at one point as being right, is now wrong. Just because the balance tilted. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just because you got enough people to agree to it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you're going against it, then you're wrong. Because everybody ain't on that side.
one thing I want us to agree to at a certain point is how exactly we should go about handling certain things. And this is how I'm gonna segue into our last particular topic. I saw this video, man, and it was a 7 a.m. It was Chicago at 7 a.m. I don't know if y'all saw the video, and it was a little gunfight. 7 o'clock in the morning. So I also came across this video a while back that showed what the president of El Salvador has done to handle their gang problem. That thing was named Bukele. He even got a gangster name, Bukele. I'm finna show y'all what these fools doing in Chicago, and y'all tell me if the president of El Salvador, maybe we need to adopt some of what he talking about over here in the United States. That's Chicago at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Violence, but this stopped the gang violence. March 2022, MS-13 had slaughtered 87 people in 3 days. We know the country has a history of violence, but this? Nah. Now, this was pretty unusual in its ruthlessness. People with no ties to crime were targeted. A fruit seller, a surf instructor, a homemaker, a cobbler, anybody. These gangsters went after everybody. But their message was directed at one person, Nayib Bukele, who had promised to radically reduce crime and change El Salvador's image abroad. These gang members left corpses and human remains on the road, leading to Surf City, a beachfront real estate on the Pacific coast, which Bukele had refurbished and renamed to attract international tourists. The story of this bloody massacre made headlines worldwide, and it brought out Bukele's dark side. He began his infamous crackdown by declaring a state of emergency in the country. He would create new policies allowing rival gang populations to mix up in prison, a practice that was never implemented in a bid to reduce prison violence. But authorities arranged hundreds of bare-chested prisoners in their underwear, pressed them tightly together in rows, and took pics of them to send a warning to other gang members out there. Bukele would use extreme legal measures, covered in the face of democracy by enacting new policies that really deprived Salvadorans basic constitutional rights, such as the right to legal defense and freedom of movement, while simultaneously relaxing rules on making arrests and authorizing the state to intercept civilian communications.
Includes that arrests can be made without a warrant and detainees no longer have a right to a lawyer. Private communications of all citizens can also be accessed by the government.
Under these draconian laws, security forces have launched a swift and aggressive assault on gangs, apprehending members and suspected associates without warrants or solid evidence, significantly speeding up the process compared to previous crackdowns by other presidents. To put into context just how effective this crackdown was, El Salvador recorded 33,000 arrests in the first few months. This is in addition to the fact that the state of emergency has suspended constitutional rights to legal defense, allowing authorities to detain individuals indefinitely on vague charges without the necessity of an arrest warrant or supporting evidence. Detainees are also denied the right to a court hearing within 72 hours of arrest, and lawyers, even civil society organizations, report being unable to communicate with those detained. Arrests are now often based on unverified intelligence, rumors, and info sourced from unusual places like social media profiles. Additionally, the Bukele administration has enacted new laws aiming at keeping gang members incarcerated for longer periods. Jail sentences have been heightened for gang affiliation, and the option of house arrest for individuals associated with these gangs is no longer an option. The initiative might be impressive, but how effective was this crackdown? Well, according to multiple sources online, Areas and neighborhoods in El Salvador that were plagued by these gangs for decades are now free from their strongholds. Few residents reported seeing remnants of the gangs in their neighborhoods, while some mention the return of active gang members who were released from jail. But they say these gangsters held far less power than before the state of emergency. Also, before the state of emergency, gang members extorted people working for small and medium-sized businesses, including street vendors, shop owners, bus operators, and taxi drivers in communities under their control. But now, all that's in the past. An owner of a bus company who previously paid around $6,000 in monthly extortion fees to two main gang factions said he stopped paying immediately after the crackdown began. The Salvadoran police also reported a 54% reduction in extortion complaints between the start of 2022 until September 2022. But ironically, this method, while deeply concerning, has proven to be the most effective crackdown in El Salvador's history. The only question left to answer right now is, can this Bukele type of crackdown be enacted by other countries plagued by gang violence around the world? Change it.
To answer the question, no.
It should. It
No.
should. It
No.
should. It should.
I'm
It should. See, I knew a woman was gonna say no. It's always y'all telling us no. We need to go and get them little motherfuckers. Fuck.
You gotta let me explain.
Y'all want social workers and be nice and all that other shit, man.
Nope,
Damn
didn't
that.
say that. Didn't say that. You gotta let me explain.
Yeah, I want to hear.
Here's where things become an issue with being Black. A couple of things they said in there was the lack of ability to have an attorney. There's a lack of official evidence.
I heard all that. I'm still
now I'm not that pressed about the
sourcing
whole
your soul.
thing.
Listen,
Let
you
me
little
finish,
fuckers-
child. Dang. I'm not that concerned about the surveillance and all of that because the government's gonna surveil their people. It just is what it is. But in the United States, the people who will be affected most are people who look like you and me. Why is it successful in El Salvador but wouldn't be successful here? It's because El Salvador is full of El Salvadorians. The United States isn't just one culture for the most part where this could be effective without extreme racial targeting. Could something similar work? I don't think it should be done at the federal level. Now, if the city of Chicago wants to do something like this, because at some point, some of the things they're talking about violate civil rights. It just does. And the thing we have to account for is the violation of civil rights is already built into our Constitution. It's just not necessarily being not enacted. It's not necessarily being used. So the issue then becomes they can go back to using this on all Black people at any given moment. It's a real delicate balance federally. Citywide, could they do something like this in Chicago? Absolutely, I think they should. But federally, hell no.
And wait. And I want to say this clearly. That's what I mean specifically. Absolutely, Chicago. I don't give a damn who they got to do it. Look. I want to replay this video right quick. Just a second. Bro, let me tell you, if that
what
was
begging y'all doing at 7:00 in the morning?
Let me tell you, if that was outside of my house, and then a couple of weeks later, I see some mama crying because her son got snatched up because a Facebook photo of him and the M16 got him locked up, and they can't get no lawyer, and they talking about free Jamal. Fuck you, fuck Jamal, fuck that photo. He's out. I don't give a damn. I don't care. Absolutely, I'm with it. Again, not on the national level, but you determine an area like Chicago where shit like that, I can't go sit on my porch. You got me fucked up. Because if you tell me I can't come out there and handle it the way a man should be allowed to handle it if it's on his fucking property, you should come handle it. But it'll be a bunch of goddamn mamas that well, he got influence because his daddy in jail too. And I don't care what. I don't care what you tell me the excuses. I don't care if about post-traumatic slave syndrome. I don't care about none of it. At this juncture, if I get up and my outside my front door, that pops off, I want them to come get everybody they think is associated with it. Come get me if you think I'm really associated with that. That's how serious I am. Come get me if you think
it happened on the federal
level. I'm dead. That's fine. That's fine. Come get me if you look at everything about me and you think I'm associated with that, then come get me too. See, I'm not worried. That I don't worry about.
Right.
It's the motherfuckers that's on there with a goddamn M16. Yeah, if you on there with an M16 with somebody's daughter in their prom dress, come get your dumb ass too. Because that's stupid. Get him too. All of them. I hate that shit, bro. It's sickening to see something like that. And I'm like, yes, man, extreme measures need to be taken because this is something that's extreme.
Agreed.
Go ahead, Frank.
Man, I have absolutely no argument against it. No argument against it. Man, you remember in DeKalb County they had black cats?
Yeah.
And in Fulton they had red dogs.
And the jump out boys too. Yep. Well, I remember the black cats was feared around East Lake.
Man,
feared.
And man, hey, they was on my street down there every weekend. Homeboy, one house up, his house was being raided. I ain't had no idea what was going on. I was just riding my bike. My brother was sitting on the porch, and I'm the only nigga on the street riding my bike. And they had the paddy wagon sitting out in front of his house, and the black cat got out.
Paddy wagon.
They had on the whole tactical uniform, the ski mask, and all that stuff. And I'm just riding my bike like Forrest Gump. And they're like, Sam, bring your butt back down. I was just like, huh? But they about to raid. They was getting out to go raid the house. So after that, after so many summers of that happening, it quieted down over there. So to parrot what you said, Manuel, you know, extreme circumstances calls for extreme measures.
Yeah.
And with something that's that out of control, where these little niggas get up, they won't get up to go to work at 7 o'clock in the morning, but they'll get up to go shoot guns at each other at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Like, man, I'm trying to sleep in. What are you talking about? We about to go shoot somebody at 7 o'clock. Ain't nobody even had breakfast yet. Who made the cream of wheat?
Ain't breast now.
Who got the biscuits?
Mm-hmm. I still got I've still got my mouthwash swashing around, and I'm hearing blop 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 blop.
Like, dude, I ain't even took my do rag off. Like, what are we doing this early in the morning? You ain't even refreshed the deodorant from your shower last night. Ain't washed your face. You got coal in your eyes, my boy.
Fully dressed outside shooting guns.
Fully dressed.
Like, nigga, you got up before 7 o'clock in the morning. You got up at 5 o'clock to go shoot.
You ain't even put your Crocs in sport mode, my dude. And y'all busting. Like, what are we doing?
And in a residential area.
In a residential. And that don't even look like that. Don't even look like that. Bro, I'm telling you.
And that's a nicer area.
Yeah, it looked like it.
Just total disregard for life. Like, them niggas just out there shooting wild.
And you know what? And here's the thing.
Hoping they hit something.
And here's the thing. And me and my wife were talking about this the other day, man. They're not tough. One prison guy explained it. He said, man, when these young dudes come here, those dudes that used to butt guns, look at how they were shooting. Those dudes shooting and ducking, they just hoping to hit something. They don't care what they hit. Mm-hmm. Most dudes that get a murder charge is getting a murder charge because they hit somebody they didn't mean to hit, or they hit somebody at distance. But they said, but when you go to prison and you end up in prison with dudes that did what they did up close and personal, and that's been doing what they've been doing up close and personal for the last 20 years, shanks, knives, and they say in these other countries, Mexico and El Salvador and some of these other places, where they don't got weapons, where when they cut up bodies and do some of the things they do, you're not really the man. So you can't even do hand to hand.
Yeah.
Y'all just shooting. They could have been hitting strays, man. They could have hit somebody's kid. Man, I'm telling you, I don't care whose children they are. Go get them. And if your son is a good kid, but he was cool with him, Jamal got to go down too. Well, gang, we doing a GoFundMe because he really is a good kid. He just hang with his dad. That was just his homeboy.
Okay,
well,
he need a new homeboy.
Guilt by association. I'm sorry, man. I would literally tell a woman to her face that a father woman to her face, he just got caught up with the wrong fit. Hey, man, y'all should have been like my daddy. My daddy annoyed the shit out of all my friends. All my friends all of them know the dude. And I'm telling you, man, Frank can tell you, man, Robert Hill had him downstairs and that Robert Hill still in his drawers having a conversation smelling like cigarettes and coffee downstairs and want to have a whole conversation with his man. And you got to stand there and have a whole conversation. Now we got to leave the crib smell like smoke because Robert want to have a whole conversation with and I'm trying to get in and out. Trying to get in and out the crib. We trying to get out the crib. He's like, hey, who that up there? That Sam? You better come down here and speak. and we sitting there like, damn, man, don't your dad know we gotta go? Damn, man. Gotta go down there and speak. Man, I ain't know. I'm telling you, he knew every single person and knew where they lived and had a good idea of what they was like.
Who your people? That was a big thing for us.
Yeah.
Who your people? Because you can't just come around here, any kind of way. I remember my high school sweetheart. We went to church together. And even though my mom knew his family, knew we grew up in church and all of that, she wouldn't let me leave nowhere with that man without meeting him, his daddy, and his stepmama face to face first.
Mm-hmm. My daughters were tripping on their mom because she was talking about meeting somebody. Oh my gosh, she doing too much. I said, doing too much. I said, don't make me. I said, y'all are out y'all goddamn mind. Mm-hmm. I said, she wants to meet that person and the other adult in their life. She needs to know who that mama is. Because if you gone too long or somebody, hey, where your son at with my daughter? Where is it?
I got a story for that one.
Well, yeah, when the young fella here meet somebody for cool and they want to go shoot ball together, whatever they're gonna do. First thing I do when I drop them off, when I go in there and introduce myself, saying that's just what you do. Mm-hmm. And I'm judging parents that don't. They just drop their kid out. Damn, your parents just drop you off. Damn, I'm looking out the door. Damn, they gone already.
Right, they don't know nothing about me.
They don't know nothing.
No, we need to meet your people.
Yeah, I could be Diddy over here. Goddamn, boy, they just bowl, ain't it?
That same high school sweetheart. Never forget this. I broke curfew my senior year. He had come home from Korea because he was in the army. He went out to the army after high school. He was a year older than me, and I broke curfew. So my phone had died. This was in '99. So we didn't have car chargers like that. So my phone died. So my mom
99. Wait, 99. And you had a phone?
Yeah. I had a full-time job in my own car. And I made a car note on, baby.
She was spoiled. Well, not spoiled.
I was not spoiled. All my grandmama did was sign her name on the dotted line. I had to pay for
my bag. Shit, nigga like me couldn't get no phone to 2000 something. I was still rocking.
Oh no, I paid for my own phone. She said if I had a car, I had to have a phone. So I had to pay my own phone bill. My phone bill was like $100 a month. But so my mom called his parents to find where I was. And of course, he got home before I made it home because he lived closer to where we were. And he got worried, like, oh, well, I left her like 20 minutes ago and she ain't home yet. Like, what's going on? So he rushing up the street to come find me. My grandmama out trying to find me too. And in the midst of that, I make it back to the house before she gets back. But she finds him on Gordon Highway. He done got stopped by the police speeding. Oh. So she sits there with him and the cop. And I'm at the house. And it's like, both of our parents just like, because at that time, by the time I get to the house, his mom called the house. Like, what happened? Like, why were y'all out? What was going on? And then my mama, she finally calls me. I'm out here with your honey. He done got stopped by the police. So it was this whole circle of us being fussed at between each other's parents in the whole process. And even looking back on that, I'm so appreciative of that experience.
Yeah.
because his parents cared enough to chew me out. My
and
mom
there you go. There you go.
But she was also there because she was like, I don't do black men around cops. And my mom, my grandma was a minister. So she sat right there while that cop wrote him a ticket. And she made him my boyfriend follow her back home so she could fuss at us together. Then I had to go to church Sunday and get fussed at again, face to face with his mom and his daddy.
That
was the 90s. Like
that was good. Trying to be fast. You
appreciate
should have been
what
trying to be
that
fast.
was.
You should have been trying to be fast. You were trying to,
I wasn't
your
trying
hot
to be
tail.
fast.
Yeah,
We
you
was
was.
at
Yeah, you
IHOP.
was. Yeah, you was.
We
No,
were literally at IHOP having breakfast
Yeah,
at 11 o'clock at night.
We finna get to meat of this story. What you trying to do? What was you trying to do breaking curfew, first of all? Because ain't nothing closed out, ain't nothing open at 12 but a club and some legs.
I did not lose my virginity until I was 18.
You better have been, boy, you better have been.
That's why he kept breaking up with me, because I wouldn't have given him none. Till I got grown, and that was a different story. But while we were in high school, nope. My grandmama told me if I got pregnant, she'd cut my head off and stick my body in the closet. Nope.
Where he at? What's his name? I'm gonna ask.
I'm not.
What? Yeah,
he out there in the world.
We're gonna go search her Facebook friend. Yeah, look at her. She don't want to tell.
My Facebook friend. He's not my Facebook friend.
Damn.
He's a LinkedIn friend, but not a Facebook friend.
He got a Facebook?
I don't know. I don't think so. He used to like a decade ago, but I don't know.
I just want to hear his side of the story.
Yeah, I that's definitely what I want to hear.
We were at IHOP having breakfast. We had went to the movies, and then
they always say they having breakfast. They always say they was having breakfast.
Was that the only Rudy Tooty he had?
Yes.
Real talk.
Absolutely. Y'all know I tell all my business. Why I'm gonna lie? I ain't shame of nothing I did, because everything I did, I had fun doing it. So it wasn't nothing like that at all. No, we were at IHOP, and we left IHOP and dispersed. I had to stop and get gas, so that's what took me a little extra time to get back home. And then I knew, because I went to the gas station too to see if they had a charger, because I had a Nokia phone, the kind with the faceplate. I had a wood grain faceplate to match my car.
But you know what?
And I was like, let me stop and get some gas. I was like, man, maybe they got a charger. So, because I know she calling me because I know I'm late. She wasn't trying to hear that, because I was like, he home from Korea, ma. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, listen, parents.
I ain't
they
seen
don't
him
care.
in like 9 months.
Damn.
Parents don't care about what the excuses is. Like. But you know what? The care, man. Just giving a damn, man. Giving a damn about your kids, even when they get on their nerves later on, it pays dividends.
Yep.
Like this fool, man. We was. I know we told the story before where he was out and he got caught coming back. Coming in the house late, hanging out with me and his brothers. He said his brothers, the whole house was up waiting on him. And he said he was on the roof trying to get in, and the brother like, "Did that nigga go?" No. Oh, go ahead. Tell her what happened.
All right, so and I kept telling this nigga, I was like, "Hey man, 5 minutes we'll leave." But I was in a good spot.
Yeah, you was.
I was in a good spot.
Yeah, you was.
So I was like, man, we got another hour. Then everybody's still asleep. That spot kept getting better. And before I knew it, I was like, damn, I hear birds chirping. So I went down the hall like, hey man, we gotta go. We gotta go now. So I'm in a race against the sun. I'm driving. I'm speeding down 85, looking at the sky, looking at the horizon.
Riding dirty on 85, slow taking.
It wasn't no slow. It wasn't slow.
So I missed the exit. I should have got on 285 because that would have brought me past his house first.
It would have circled you around. Yep.
Yeah, it would have got me to your house first. You would have got out, and I would have went straight to my house. But I went 85 down to 20. So I had to come down all the way down 85 through downtown and come up 20 past my house.
Columbia Drive. Yep.
Yeah, past my house to drop him off. So as soon as I pulled up in front of his house, the sun just popped up. I felt like a vampire. Like I just knew I was, man, I was like, so when I pulled up to my grandma's house, the sun was completely on. It was like the sun was noon high. I'm like, hold up, man. Why are you so high right now? Like, why are you so bright? So what I used to do when I knew I was late, we slept in the attic that was converted into a bedroom. Mm-hmm. So the attic window was right above the back porch, and the kitchen window was right next to the back door. I mean, back porch door. So I used to, I watched my brother do this first, so I learned it from him. So I used to climb on the windowsill, put one foot on the banister on the stairs, pull the screen door open, balance that with one foot, climb on top of the back porch roof, and then go into the attic window. So I just knew that if I can just make it to the back porch, I can get in that window. So I did it 100 times before. But this time, everybody was up in the kitchen. The whole house. Everybody, like, some of y'all niggas don't work. Why are you up? So I went to the back and I heard them talking about me. Because my brother was about to go out on the search. They about to go jump in the car and look for me like, where were you gonna go and look?
My house first. Go with that nigga on wheels, so let's go stop over there first.
He gonna go find his partner in crime.
So I went back. So I ran back to the front of the house. And I was like, maybe I can, since everybody in the kitchen, maybe I can slide through the front door without anybody noticing me. Like, that was even a possibility because it was a 2-bedroom house, and the door to the stairs to the attic was right in front of the, like, it was right next, it was parallel to the kitchen. So even if I would have got through the front door, as soon as I opened it, like, I would have had to stop by the kitchen, in front of the kitchen where everybody was congregating at. So by the time I realized that ain't gonna work, I went back around to the back porch to try to figure something out. So while I'm on the way to the back porch, I hear the front door open up, and one of my brothers said, "There you go." I'm like, well, y'all think about some? They was like on me. Only thing they needed was a hound dog. Cause them niggas was like some slave patrols. And them niggas, they walked me through the kitchen. So they went in the back door that I was trying to avoid and walked me into the kitchen where everybody was at. And you already know what happened after that. Couldn't drive the car till December. That was in August, because we had just graduated high school, and I couldn't drive the car from August to December. Couldn't drive no more. So
for shame.
But being a parent now, I understand, because when my daughter go out, I'm on my wife like, you heard from her yet? You heard from her yet? You heard from her yet? Yeah, I just talked to her. 10 minutes later, you heard from me yet? so I know now, and I understand now. So, but back then, I know it was love. Yeah, I know it was all out of love, because I wasn't the kid that did anything like that, or at least got caught doing it. So my two older brothers had the reputation.
It took you hanging around. It took you hanging around me to end up in a situation.
Yep, sounds about right. Sounds about right.
Most of his egregious incidents in life have come being around me in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, cause I ain't doing nothing on my own.
Yeah, proud of myself. I'm very proud.
Should you though? Should you be?
Yeah. Yeah. That boy did some living around me, boy. He did some living, boy. You gonna live. You gonna live around me, boy. You gonna do some living, boy.
I give you that.
You gonna question some things about yourself when you're done. Like, what the hell was I thinking? Oh yeah, we gonna get into it.
Story to tell running with this nigga.
Yeah, we gonna yeah, boy. We'll get into it. We'll apologize for it later. We'll be all right.
So now you know what type of dude to be on the lookout for your daughters.
Oh shit! Come on, come on.
You be like, man, this little nigga remind me of Manuel. Nah, nope.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's some of them characteristics. Yeah, man. I mean, I wasn't bad. I wasn't disrespectful. I was just trying to do as much as I can get away with at the time. At any given time, trying to just do as much as I can.
Yeah, the nigga, he wasn't grimy. He wasn't a grimy kid. He was just mischievous.
Yeah, I was gonna do what I can get away with.
He was grimy light.
Huh? Yeah. Listen. The grimiest moments I had. Actually, listen. The grimiest probably came as an adult. You know what I'm saying? After somewhere in between the first marriage and the second, I had a stretch. And these stories are still he gets new stories every couple of months, and he was like, "What?" And I just like, I know, man, I know, I forgot about that one. It's like I would have to sit down and write a memoir, and it would seem like a lifetime of stuff done in such a short period of time. But man,
you ever been disappointed and intrigued at the same time? When this nigga tell me I'm sorry, like, man, I'm ashamed of you. Keep going. What happened next?
Oh yeah.
I know it's some things I be hearing. I be like, what?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's
terrible. Keep going.
It's a moment. Anyway, y'all, hey, look, we got the last episode of X-Men.
That's tonight.
Yeah.
I'm
so that means next week. That's what we'll be talking about.
That's why I was late jumping on.
Oh, you watched it already?
Yeah, I did.
Don't say nothing. Don't you open your mouth.
Well, let's get off here.
Don't do like Manuel did and tag me in the spoilers.
Wait, are you?
I ain't gonna post anything about it, but I will say.
You gonna watch it tonight, Chef?
Yeah, I'm watching tonight.
All right, when you done, then let me know. Then I'm gonna talk shit.
Okay.
Y'all can expect 2 big villains for season 2.
All right, now be quiet. We don't want to hear no more. Damn, that's too much information right there. Damn.
Yeah.
All right, y'all, man. Goodness, I need to go get me some damn food too. I'm a little hungry. This woman better have this
Good
woman.
night. I might go take care of this baby.
Woman better have done some womanly duties around here. I'm up here working. Better have cook. Hey.
I thought that was your job.
When you working.
Yeah, better work. Hey. All right. Oh, that's what your job. It ain't my job.
I mean, you be posting plates.
I do, don't I? Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Good night, y'all.